Why did you do that?
You know, I felt like he was just too much of a smart mouth, and I didn't like that. So I was like, JP, look this up. Sure enough, his dumb ass doesn't even own his own domain.
Stop
Caleb,
the cap,
Caleb,
no?
take it easy. I'm gonna take care of him for you. I promise you. I promise you.
Canelo-Plant just bought Edgar Berlanga's domain, edgarberlanga.com. But what he did with his was something you'd never think about. He had done it in the past for David Benavidez, but this one seems crazier and more alarming. Well, in support of whatever Canelo-Plant is doing against Edgar Berlanga, Canelo Alvarez had his say on the matter. No one expects him to be on Berlanga's side for now, and he surely didn't disappoint. The bromance that has been growing lately between Canelo Alvarez and Canelo-Plant would easily make one forget how the two were not only on opposite corners, but had one of the most intense buildups to a boxing fight when they locked horns in the ring 2 years ago. The pair laid hands on each other and almost had a brawl break out before they were stopped by those present on the scene. It was one of the most heated in recent times.
He said if we don't get the Canelo fight, then we gonna run it next. That's what you said, right? No, what I'm saying, that's what you said.
I promise you, shit.
No, besides promise, I'm saying that's what you said.
Bro, I'm gonna knock you out. Take your glasses off, I'm gonna knock you out. Yo.
But that seems nothing compared to what may still happen between Canelo Alvarez and Edgar Berlanga. There was the usual trash talking, but there were also slurs and some sensual insults, and they almost had a brawl, thanks to those who could step in between them early enough.
Canelo, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Buddy,
You
that's
love
for
when
you.
you get
During Edgar Berlanga's trash talk, he trolled most of Canelo Alvarez's opponents, including the one that was right in the conference room, Canelo-Plant. This forced an alliance between the two boxers to do everything to ensure Canelo Alvarez sees the end of Edgar Berlanga on fight night. Well, the alliance between Canelo and Plant happened immediately after their fight 3 years ago, where he and Canelo apologized to each other for their spat during the press conference and acknowledged themselves as great fighters.
You know, obviously that pissed me off. I'm a fighter, so I'm sure even a lot of you with the cameras, if somebody come up and shove you that hard, you're gonna come back at them, you know. And so, but we settled it. We settled it. You know, even after the fight in the ring, he apologized.
Furthermore, Canelo-Plant told Canelo Alvarez he would never abuse his mom, as he had lost his in the past. Perhaps this was what made Canelo Alvarez promise Canelo-Plant that he would beat Edgar Berlanga on his behalf. And now, Canelo is supporting whatever Canelo-Plant is doing against Berlanga, including buying Edgar Berlanga's domain. Canelo said in an interview when informed, Berlanga deserves whatever happens to him. He said he has a better IQ than Caleb, which is a lie. He's not better than my worst opponent. Caleb can keep doing that till I finish the work when we fight.
Talent.
You know,
Lot of talent.
you know.
They don't see outside of the ring, but when they come into the ring, it's just they see everything.
Canelo-Plant is best at what he does, throwing punches, whether in the ring or outside of it, and mocking his rivals. You can never miss him whenever his fight is near. But this time, he is embroiled in a heated exchange with Edgar Berlanga, and he is making sure the Chosen One regrets getting into a tussle with him. So, what exactly did the Tennessee native do? It all started when the two took their seats at the first press conference, as both will fight on the same card on September 14th. However, instead of directing his mean comments and making his case for a win against Canelo Alvarez, Berlanga, 27, pointed fingers at Plant, 32, seated in the audience.
What you say? That what?
Canelo.
What you say?
Canelo.
Berlanga expressed the need for boxing IQ and intelligence, which could tip the scales in his favor against the Mexican champion. But Berlanga, 22-0, ended up throwing shade at Sweet Hands. That's what's going to make the difference on September 14th. It's intelligence and IQ, and we're not going to end up like that doomed guy over there that got knocked out pointing at Canelo-Plant, Berlanga declared. Since then, the two have been at each other's throats, and now, to taunt him, Plant has bought his domain, edgarberlanga.com.
You know, if you're a professional, you don't own your own domain. Like, you don't even deserve to have it. So I just bought it and really was just going to keep it in my back pocket. Or maybe one day we'll fight.
Whenever you search for the domain, it will show you the videos and promotional stuff of Plant at 22.2 and doesn't include any info or stuff related to Berlanga. Notably, Plant did the same to David Benavidez last year when he bought the Mexican Monsters domain and used it to promote his brand and post his fight videos. When Boxing Kingdom shared a post about the super middleweights tactic, he shared it on his X handle and responded to it with a chess piece emoticon. It seems the beef between Berlanga and Plant is only picking the heat and won't end here. Amid the verbal exchanges, the former International Boxing Federation champion has cautioned Berlanga.
Hold on, you did the Benavides too. Was it the same deal? Like,
I had bought that in like 2017, 2018.
yeah, I'm trademarking my shit tonight, so I ain't gonna let you be buying some.
Turning to his social media handle, Plant reacted to the repeated threats from Berlanga to smack him in the face. The super middleweight boxer said, "So when I put my foot in his backside, I don't want to hear anybody in any comments talking about, oh, Caleb, why is he? Step to me and threaten me that you're going to smack me in the face. See how that works out." I felt like he was just too much of a smart mouth and I didn't like that. So I was like, JP, look this up. Sure enough, his dumb head. He doesn't even know I own his own domain. If you're a professional and you don't own your own domain, like, you don't even deserve to have it. So I just bought it. And really, I was just going to keep it in my back pocket. Well, maybe one day we'll fight.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I'm gonna knock you out. I'm gonna knock you out, nigga. Take your glasses off, pussy.
For what?
Plant fights for the World Boxing Association interim 168-pound title against Trevor McCumbee this September 14th under the same card where Berlanga goes up against Canelo Alvarez. It's the perfect opportunity for him to take up the gold, insert himself into the title conversation, and maybe set himself on course for a rematch with Canelo.
Okay, you're gonna see. You're gonna see.
You will
September
see.
14th. You're gonna
You
see.
think
You're
I'm more
gonna see.
IQ than Floyd Mayweather?
Saul Canelo Alvarez's next opponent will be Edgar Berlanga on September 14th. A fight that has garnered several criticisms because many experts and fans believe that Canelo chooses opponents to avoid stepping into the ring against David Benavidez. Canelo had a list of contenders in each of his super middleweight championships. Among them was Edgar Berlanga himself, also David Benavidez and William Skull. The latter not being selected caused the International Boxing Federation to strip the Mexican of his belt. Berlanga will have his first opportunity for a world championship in 8 years, but there are those who question his ability to face Saul Alvarez. The last to do so was Canelo-Plant, who faced Canelo in 2021 and has an idea of what the chosen one will find in the ring. Berlanga's numbers should be enough to give him the benefit of the doubt, being undefeated in his 22 fights with 17 knockouts. However, for Plant, he has no arguments and destroyed him with a blunt comment. He has to be able to use boxing skills that he doesn't have a chin that he doesn't have, and have the experience that he doesn't have. In summary, Caleb considers that the chosen one does not have the experience to face Canelo, in addition to questioning his ability to absorb punches, which could send him to the canvas, which complemented an opinion he had already expressed in another interview. He lacks the skills, I think he lacks the chin, he lacks the boxing ability and the IQ, Plant said about Edgar Berlanga's boxing, whom he would not rule out as a possible opponent in the future. Edgar Berlanga confronted Canelo-Plant in the race among several boxers to get a fight against Canelo Alvarez, again on everyone's lips after his convincing victory over Jaime Munguia. The Mexican champion is too juicy an opponent with too high a purse, and that causes tensions among the most ambitious fighters. Berlanga is pursuing a fight against Canelo at 168 pounds, and he is defending his right ahead of Plant, whom he does not want to see in the ring in a possible fight between the two.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I'm gonna knock you out. I'm gonna knock you out, nigga. Take your glasses off, pussy.
For what?
Fight that you want to have happen next. We're not playing it. We worry about.
The question is whether Berlanga, a protege of Eddie Hearn, has so quickly earned the right to be considered a possible challenger to Canelo, which is debatable according to the experts. It would be rather a marketing operation to get important revenues in September. Speaking to Fight Hub TV, Berlanga didn't mince words when it came to getting Plant, with whom he had a confrontation at the weigh-in of the Canelo-Munguia fight, out of the way. Why are you here, brother? You got knocked out by Canelo, you got your ass kicked by Benavidez, and you want to be in Mexican and Latino territory? You're just looking for a promotion. You're looking for leverage right now, he said.
We worry about September, and after that, I'll knock this bitch ass child.
What'd you tell him?
You can't F with me. If you fight me, I'm going to end your career, he threatened. However, Berlanga also doesn't want to fight against Plant because he considers him inferior. We talked about the sparring we had when I was 17. I was like 18 and had 2 pro fights, and I hit him with a body shot and stopped him. He's a B, he said, looking into the camera. Edgar Berlanga is blasting any backlash he's receiving about his chances to upset Canelo Alvarez on September 14th, live on DAZN in the US and Canada. That includes criticism he's received from Canelo-Plant, who recently told KO Artist Sports that after Canelo-Plant said that Edgar Berlanga got to be able to use boxing skills he doesn't have a chin that he doesn't have, and the experience that he doesn't have to defeat Alvarez, Berlanga addressed those comments directly while recently appearing on The Breakfast Club.
Where else other than EdgarBerlanga.com. You know, I told myself that I wasn't going to do that, but sure enough, at the press conference, I'm sitting there minding my business.
He's a hater, period, Berlanga said of Plant. I feel like now he's clout chasing. He's doing a lot of weird stuff just to be relevant again. A lot of people know, dude don't sell. He doesn't sell unless he's fighting a big fighter. So I'm like, you're a hater, bro. Because when it was your time to shine, when it was your time to step into that ring with Canelo and all these guys, I never bashed you. I never said nothing about you. I'll let you have your moment. But you ain't taking your opportunity. You lost. You got knocked out. To the latter, Berlanga is referring to Plant being stopped in the 11th round against Alvarez in their November 2021 clash. The undefeated Berlanga hopes to produce very different results in attempting to dethrone the unified super middleweight ruler and shock the world in the process.
And PST, EdgarBerlanga.com. There's been about 3 or 4 times that he's done threatened to smack me in my face.
Canelo-Plant has been in the ring with Canelo Alvarez in the past, and when that happened, Canelo Alvarez violently broke down Canelo-Plant on his way to making the type of history on fight night that means the most to the Mexican icon. Alvarez battered Plant, dropped him twice early in the 11th round, and stopped his previously unbeaten opponent to become boxing's first fully unified super middleweight champion in the sport's 4-belt era.
That miss by Canelo, jab, and Plant ties up. Got to cut off the ring and sort of smother you. There's a left hook by Canelo-Plant.
Referee Russell Mora declared Alvarez the winner of their Showtime pay-per-view main event 105 into the 11th round, much to the satisfaction of a capacity crowd of 16,586 at MGM Grand Garden Arena. The skillful Plant displayed toughness by taking a lot of Alvarez's hardest shots and made him miss at times. Otherwise, though, Alvarez persistently pressured Plant, brutalized the backtracking ex-champion to the body, and eventually knocked out a fighter that didn't have the power to keep Alvarez off of him.
Oh, Canelo, they were a little bit of a jab. That was blocked by Canelo. He's parrying away shots. Big left hook by Canelo. Now
Alvarez, who went off as a 7-1 favorite according to the BetMGM Sportsbook, retained his WBA, WBC, and WBO 168-pound championships and captured the IBF belt from Plant. Judges Steve Weisfeld, 98, 92, Dave Moretti, 97, 93, and Patricia Morse, Jarman, 96, 94 had Alvarez ahead entering that fateful 11th round.
And I think he's looking for those big shots. The left hook that was blocked by...
Caleb is a good fighter, Alvarez told Showtime's Jim Gray in the ring following his win. I have a lot of respect for Canelo-Plant. He was a difficult opponent with a lot of ability, and I do respect him. We are both men at the end of the day. He wanted to fight me and still continue. I told him there's no shame. We had a great fight tonight. Plant was taken to nearby University Medical Center for observation and was not available for comment following his first defeat.
Taking a look at that inadvertent low blow. That was right on the belt line.
By beating Plant, Alvarez also became just the 6th fully unified champion in any division during boxing's 4-belt era. Retired middleweights Bernard Hopkins and Jermaine Taylor, former undisputed junior welterweight champ Terrence Crawford, former undisputed cruiserweight champ Alexander Usyk, and current undisputed junior welterweight champ Josh Taylor were the first 5 fighters to accomplish that feat. This means so much for the history of Mexico to become an undisputed champion, Alvarez said. There are only 6 undisputed champions in history. It keeps me happy and very motivated to be one of the 6.
65 seconds to go. Big left hook. That landed clean for Canelo and squared circle.
The 31-year-old Alvarez hasn't lost since undefeated Floyd Mayweather beat him by majority decision in their 12-round junior middleweight title fight in September 2013 at MGM Grand Garden Arena. The Guadalajara native has since won world titles in 3 more weight classes and become boxing's best fighter, pound for pound, according to most media members and fans. He fully unified boxing's 4 super middleweight titles in less than 11 months by beating British champions Callum Smith WBA, WBC, and Billy Joe Saunders WBO last December 19th and May 8th, respectively, and Plant.
Now just over the midway point of the 7th. There's a right hand that popped. Plant with the jab upstairs, and now Canelo.
The 29-year-old Plant of Ashland City, Tennessee, made 3 defenses of the IBF super middleweight title before Alvarez defeated him. Plant beat a much lower level of opposition, though, after outpointing Jose Uzcategui to win it in January 2019, Mike Lee and mandatory challengers Vincent Feigenbutz and Caleb Truax. According to CompuBox's unofficial punch stats, 53 of the 117 punches Alvarez landed through 10-plus rounds were body blows. Overall, he connected with 16 more punches than Plant.
I mean, this is who he is. Alvarez continues to try to find openings on Plant, and Plant.
Alvarez had a huge advantage, according to CompuBox, in power punches. CompuBox credited Plant for landing more jabs against his significantly shorter opponent. With Plant fading fast, Alvarez landed a left hook and a right uppercut that made Plant bend over and touch the canvas with both gloves about 25 seconds into the 11th round. Plant, who had not been down as a pro, stumbled across the ring after answering Mora's count from that official knockdown. A valiant Plant tried his best to continue, but Alvarez attacked him. Alvarez unloaded a left-right-left combination on the depleted Plant and eventually knocked him flat on his back.
Alvarez and Caleb Plant proving that he is among the elite. Well, now he has it in front of him, and he isn't.
Mora immediately stopped the fight after Plant went down again, sprawled out underneath a bottom rope. He was making the fight pretty difficult, but Eddie told me to just stick to the game plan in the last 2 rounds, Alvarez recalled. In the end, I got him. That's the way it had to finish. He was already hurt, and I went for the kill. Alvarez landed several body shots inside that made Plant retreat with about 25 seconds to go in the 10th round. Plant landed a right-left combination to Alvarez's body before Alvarez took control of the round. Plant backed away from Alvarez throughout the 9th round and only occasionally stopped to throw punches. Alvarez landed a hard right hand that made Plant hold him with about 25 seconds to go in the 9th round. Plant did land a right hand in the 9th round that made Alvarez move away from him and reset his feet. Alvarez was the aggressor again in the 8th round, in which Plant mostly moved away from him. Plant rarely threw punches in those 3 minutes as Alvarez built upon his lead.
This is a spot, and Plant wisely ties up. And you see total punches landed thrown through 992 of Canelo might try to tire out Canelo as we head.
Plant caught Alvarez with a counter right hand just after the midway mark of the 7th round. It was one of the few right hands Plant had thrown within a few rounds. Alvarez backed into the ropes in the final minute of the 7th round, but Plant was cautious about attempting to attack his powerful opponent. An accidental clash of heads caused a brief break soon thereafter, but neither fighter was cut. Sensing that he was beginning to break down Plant, Alvarez aggressively pressured him at the start of the 6th round. Plant attempted to fend off his stronger opponent, but Alvarez landed a left hook up top, 2 lefts to the body, and a chopping right hand all around the midway mark of the 6th round. Mora warned Alvarez for a low blow, and Plant for pushing Alvarez's head down 115 into the 5th round. Alvarez caught Plant with a left hook as Plant pressed forward later in the 5th round. The crowd roared after Alvarez landed a left hook on Plant about 110 into the 4th round. Plant reset his feet and shook his head to indicate he wasn't hurt, but Alvarez clearly affected Plant with his power in that round.
By Canelo, the right uppercut, but that, I think, without a doubt, big left hook. Plant might have gotten hurt. Right uppercut, down goes Plant for the first time in.
With Plant backed against the ropes, Alvarez landed a clean left hook with just over 15 seconds to go in the 4th round. A jab by Plant caught Alvarez just before the midway mark of the 3rd round. About 15 seconds later, though, Alvarez clipped Plant with a left hook. With just over 30 seconds on the clock in the 3rd round, Alvarez landed a hard left to Alvarez's body. Plant landed a solid counter left to Alvarez's body later in the 3rd round. Plant connected with a quick left uppercut barely a minute into the 2nd round. Alvarez fired back with a left hook that caught Plant a few seconds later.
The fight. And that, oh boy, he's hurt. By Canelo Alvarez, Caleb Plant down, and Canelo looking for the finish. Big left hook.
Last 2 rounds here.
Another left hook by Alvarez backed Plant into the ropes later in the 2nd round. Plant landed another left uppercut and followed up with a left to Alvarez's body with just under 40 seconds to go in the 2nd round. Plant pumped his jab as soon their bout began and boxed almost exclusively off his back foot during the opening round. Alvarez pursued him for nearly 2 minutes before he started throwing punches, most of which Plant deflected or avoided entirely, despite loud roars from the crowd. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.